Every system that has ever truly worked has eventually failed. Think about it. Mighty empires, powerful banks, giant corporations, even the very ideas that shape our world. They don't collapse because they were poorly designed from the start. No, the truth is far more unsettling. They often fail precisely because they were too good. The better a system works, the more fragile it becomes. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this dangerous paradox and understand why success is often the quiet prelude to a spectacular collapse. What happens when a system solves a problem really, really well? Think of a perfectly tuned engine, a flawlessly executed plan, or a company that dominates its market. At first, it's a marvel of efficiency. But that very efficiency plants the seeds of its own destruction. When a system works, people stop questioning it. Why would you? It's delivering results. The rules that govern it, once flexible guidelines, slowly harden into unchangeable laws. The assumptions that underpin its creation become accepted as absolute truths, no longer open for debate. This is the trap of success. It creates a powerful illusion of stability and permanence. It breeds complacency. While everyone is busy celebrating the system's perfection, the world outside doesn't stop moving. Technology evolves, cultures shift, new threats emerge, and the system, stuck in its triumphant past, continues to optimize for a world that no longer exists. It becomes a magnificent, intricate machine designed to solve yesterday's problems, utterly blind to the challenges of tomorrow. This is where the first cracks begin to appear, not from external attacks, but from internal decay, from a dangerous and growing disconnect with reality. Let's look at one of the most famous examples in history, the Roman Empire. When we think of its fall, we often imagine barbarian hordes at the gates, a sudden and violent end. But that's only the final scene of a much longer story. The truth is, Rome didn't collapse because of incompetence. It collapsed because its systems became too efficient, too rigid, and too successful for its own good. Take their tax system. It was a marvel of its time, incredibly effective at extracting wealth from the provinces to fund the capital and the army. But it was so efficient that it eventually squeezed the economic life out of the very territories it was meant to sustain. Farmers couldn't make a living, local economies withered, and resentment grew. The system was working perfectly, but it was hollowing out the empire from within. Then there was the military. The Roman legions were the most effective fighting force the world had ever seen. Their system of expansion was relentless. But this constant expansion became a victim of its own success. They had a brilliant system. They perfected the art of the video rental store. Their business model was optimized down to the last detail, especially those infamous late fees. They were a cash cow. The system worked beautifully. But while Blockbuster was busy perfecting the management of physical tapes and penalty charges, Netflix was thinking about something else entirely: adaptability. They started with mail-order DVDs, but their real system was built on a flexible, evolving model that could pivot to streaming when the technology was ready. Blockbuster optimized for a single successful process. Netflix optimized for change. We all know how that story ended. Or look at the 2008 financial crisis. For years, the world's biggest banks have been building what they thought were foolproof risk models. These were incredibly complex systems designed to calculate and manage risk with pinpoint precision. And for a while, they worked. They allowed for massive profits and unprecedented financial innovation. The problem? Every bank was using a similar system. They had all optimized for the same set of assumptions, chief among them that housing prices would never fall everywhere at once. The regulations in place were designed to prevent small individual bank failures. Instead, they inadvertently created a system where everyone was interconnected and exposed to the same blind spot. When the unthinkable happened and the housing market buckled, the good systems didn't just fail. They failed in perfect catastrophic unison. It proves a terrifying point. Good systems don't fail quietly. They fail spectacularly, taking everything down with them. So, is every success story doomed to end in failure? It might seem that way, but there's a more optimistic way to look at it. The collapse of a system isn't a sign of stupidity or incompetence on the part of the people who built it. It's simply a sign that the system stopped evolving. It's a natural and inevitable part of the cycle of creation and destruction. The most important lesson we can learn from history, from Rome to Blockbuster, is that the healthiest systems are not the most perfect or efficient ones. The healthiest systems are the ones that are flexible, adaptable, and even a little bit messy. They are systems that build in mechanisms for feedback, for questioning assumptions, and for course correction. They embrace small, manageable failures as learning opportunities. Rather than trying to engineer a flawless machine that is immune to error, true resilience doesn't come from rigidity. It comes from the ability to bend without breaking. And the moment we accept that, the moment we stop striving for an impossible state of perfection, and instead start building for adaptability, we stop being so surprised when things fall apart. Instead, we see it for what it is. Not an end, but a necessary clearing of the ground for something new to grow. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more videos that explore the hidden patterns of our world.